top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching Mirror Now.
क्या ये प्रदर्शन सिर्फ एक संयोग है? जी नहीं, ये संयोग नहीं, ये एक प्रयोग है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes his stand clear on the anti-CAA protests in Shaheen Bagh, calls the protest a political conspiracy and an experiment. Shaheen Bagh protesters say they will continue with their agitation until their demands are met. Will continue with their agitation until their demands are met. Kerala state government declares a state disaster after 3 cases of coronavirus are confirmed. Over 2,000 people are under observation in the state, 84 hospitalized. With 4 days to go for Delhi elections, Aam Aadmi Party to release its manifesto today. Parties take out their big guns for campaigning. PM to hold his second rally at the Ram Leela Maidan. Karnataka High Court slams the state police after cops informed the court that they could not serve a notice to rape accused Godman Nityananda. Karnataka CID tells court that the Godman is on a spiritual tour. Death toll due to coronavirus cases go up to 425 in China. Cases in China cross 20,000 as the country grapples with this major outbreak. A WHO-led international team of experts could go to China as early as this week to investigate. BCCI releases the names of cricketers in the Test and the ODI squad for the remaining New Zealand tour. Mayank Agarwal replaces an injured Rohit Sharma in the ODI team. Welcome. Good to have you with us on today's edition of India This Morning. I am Afrida Rahman Ali. We focus first on the Delhi elections as momentum is clearly building up now, with just 4 days to go for the voting to take place. Campaigning intensifies in the national capital. The Aam Aadmi Party will release its manifesto this afternoon, days after it unveiled its 10-point guarantee card. Besides this, both Congress and the BJP have rallies lined up by their top leaders to woo voters. After his first rally in East Delhi yesterday, Prime Minister will address his second rally today in Dwarka. My colleague Ayushman is joining me with more inputs on the ground situation, and he's in fact right now at the BJP headquarters, Ayushman, if I'm not mistaken. So you were sending us inputs on, the entire strategy that the BJP is going to unleash today, the number of leaders, MPs, ministers who will probably be out on the road. First, take us through the plan that the BJP has decided on for its campaigning as momentum clearly building up in the national capital ahead of the voting.
Yes, Afrida. In fact, we are at the BJP headquarters in the national capital where the Delhi's team sits. And currently, if you see behind me, the campaign vehicles are lined up for the kind of campaigning that is taking place in the national capital, Afrida. Yes. Important aspect is that BJP has enlisted almost every entire leadership in the national capital. It includes 11 of the chief ministers, several of the MPs. Each MPs have been allotted in the assembly constituencies. There are the additional MLAs have been called. It has been said that all those MLAs, there are 70 assembly constituencies. It has been said that over the communication that all those locals, candidates which feel that there is a need of deployment of more MLAs in order to connect with people. People-to-people connect is very important, basic of the BJP. It is saying that it is not only targeting the booth this time, they are targeting each voter in the national capital. And for that, a battery of leadership has been deployed in the national capital. Dharmendra Pradhan, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, they have been meeting the party workers. Also, Union Minister Amit Shah, he is also meeting the workers in the night. If you remember, Afrida, there was a tweet from Amit Shah's handle where he said that in the night he was meeting at 3 o'clock, he was meeting the party workers. So that is the BJP strategy. They are targeting every voter at the booth level. While the Congress is yet to start its campaign today, the star power of the Congress will be, which includes Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, also Manmohan Singh, they'll also be holding rally today. Arvind Kejriwal is going to announce and they are going to release the manifesto. Also, Afrida, BJP is releasing today the vision that they have for the Delhi. That document will be released by JP Nadda.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Just to tell our viewers the information that you have sent us, 11 chief ministers, 59 central ministers, 200 members of parliament, all of that will be actively campaigning in the last leg of the campaigning for the Delhi election. Stay with us, Ayushman. I'm going to come back to you on the point of manifesto release. But first, let's bring in Avni, who's joining us from the Mumbai newsroom, because Avni is going to give us an idea about how the parties stand in terms of what they have to offer. Avni, good morning.
Good morning, Afrida. So let me take you through, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party manifesto will be released today. But earlier on as well, Arvind Kejriwal did talk about the 10-point guarantee that the Aam Aadmi Party is giving in the run-up to the election. So just quickly to go through that, first of all, as far as electricity is concerned, 24-hour power supply is the first guarantee that has been given, and provision of free power up to 200 units will also continue. Remember, that has been one thing that the Aam Aadmi Party offered. The other part is, of course, a water supply, 24-hour water supply. This has also been a big point of bone of contention as far as the quality of water is concerned. Nonetheless, tap water connection in each household is what has been guaranteed and promised by the Aam Aadmi Party. Thirdly, as far as education is concerned, this has been one big focus area for the Aam Aadmi Party. More government schools to be opened. That is what Arvind Kejriwal is at this point in time promising. And also financial assistance to students until graduation. That is what has also been guaranteed. As far as health is concerned, more hospitals, mohalla clinics, polyclinics to all be set up. This is also something. Mohalla clinics has been the other big focus of the Aam Aadmi Party, and that guarantee is also been given. Best treatment for all patients as well. Moving on to the next point, transport, free bus ride to students has been promised. Remember, free transport, free bus rides for women was done earlier on, and that also is going to continue and extended as well. Pollution, that we've seen the kind of politicization over pollution in the last year. More than 2 crore trees will be planted is what the Aam Aadmi Party is saying, and also vacuum cleaning to be done to control dust as the other solution for pollution. The river Yamuna also to be pollution free. Of course, we still don't know how all that's going to happen, because Yamuna pollution is been there for a long time and no success in actually cleaning it up. Women's safety, mohalla marshals to be deployed in colonies. That's one of the solutions, and of course more CCTV cameras to be installed and street lights to be installed. That process had started last year itself, and that is going to continue is what they say. Unauthorized colonies is the other point, will improve infrastructure and connectivity. That's the other one. And garbage, of course, another big issue as far as Delhi is concerned. And they say they will make Delhi cleaner in the next 5 years. And finally, going on to houses for the poor, which will be more houses will be built up.
Right. Avni, thanks for joining us. And the reason why we put this out is because these are the points on which we will be seeking accountability. Should the Aam Aadmi Party come back to power as voters, as citizens, as taxpayers? These are the promises being made. 10-point guarantee card, which Avni took us through. Thanks very much for joining us. I want to bring in Ayushman once again. Ayushman, first the guarantee card, now the manifesto. Will it be an elaboration of these points? I also want to ask you that, the discourse is now primarily around Shaheen Bagh, the CAA protest, as the Prime Minister decided to pitch it very strongly in his first rally in the Delhi elections. Tell us, how is the Aam Aadmi Party preparing to, put up with this kind of a blitzkrieg, and where is Congress in the picture?
Well, Afrida, the Congress has been, the senior leadership of the Congress hasn't been there on the ground so far. But today we are being told that 2 rallies, both by Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, will be there. In Rajari Garden, Manmohan Singh will be there. Sonia Gandhi, the interim president, is admitted in Gangaram Hospital, so she won't be campaigning. But apart from that, the senior leadership of Congress has been missing in the campaigning, Afrida. And if you talk about the discourse which is is there in right now. The BJP has been pitching on the idea of Shaheen Bagh and the rest of the Delhi and the nationalism debate. But if you talk to the leaders of Aam Aadmi Party, they have been definitely pitching on the core issues. They've been saying that their key work area involves the electricity, water and better connectivity in the national capital. They have been talking about that. But the BJP's discourse, they have been talking on Shaheen Bagh and the Citizenship Amendment Act. If you remember, there was a senior union minister who alleged one kind of controversy against Arvind Kejriwal, against which the Aam Aadmi Party is going to approach. Also against Yogi Adityanath, the Aam Aadmi Party has gone to the Election Commission seeking the time from the CEC that Yogi Adityanath must be banned because he's making communal jibes. So the discourse is somewhere between the local issues and the national issues in the national capital currently, Afrida.
Right, which is why the manifesto is coming at a very interesting time. It will be interesting to see whether the Aam Aadmi Party decides to respond to that kind of a tirade, attacking the chief ministerial candidate of the Aam Aadmi Party, going to the extent of calling him a terrorist by one of the senior ministers. So we'll have to see how the AAP responds to it. Ayushman, thanks for joining us, bringing in Avni once again to tell us about who's offering what in terms of manifesto on a day, Avni, that AAP is all set to release its manifesto. You took us through the 10 points in their guarantee card, but tell us what the other parties are pitching in their manifestos.
Yes, absolutely, Afrida, because obviously there will be comparison between all the manifestos, and we do have some idea as to what AAP's manifesto is going to be based on. So let's first look at what BJP is offering at this point in time. Now, BJP has said that Ayushman Bharat will be implemented. This, of course, is a key factor as far as the manifesto is concerned. Free e-scooters for underprivileged girl students is the other promise on the manifesto for the BJP. Providing flour at 2 kgs, I beg your pardon, 2 rupees per kg is also the another point that the manifesto really talks about. Moving ahead to the next point, permanent solution to the ceiling drive. Remember, the ceiling drive has been one big issue as far as Delhi is concerned. So solution, they say they will find for that. Focus on clean air and water. Not really talking exactly what points, but that will be one focus. Jobs is the other issue that they have touched upon, saying that at least 10 lakh people will be given employment in the next 5 years is what the BJP manifesto says at this point in time. Now, moving on to what the Congress is really offering and what the Congress manifesto says. It says 300 units of electricity will be free for all. That is of the first point. Unemployment allowance, that's 5,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees is also what the Congress is offering. Cashback for conserving electricity and water. So they've taken that electricity, water one step forward. Free coaching for economically weaker sections of society students. That is another point for the Congress. 5,000 rupees per month pension for senior citizens. So pension scheme is what also they have proposed in their manifesto. 33% reservation for women. So yes, that essentially is what both the BJP and also one more point to that, they will challenge the Citizenship Amendment Act in the Supreme Court. So these are essentially what the BJP and Congress manifestos say. So we'll of course have to wait for what the Aam Aadmi Party manifesto says when it is released later today.
So at least in terms of CAA, the Congress is very clear. It is going to challenge it so the voters can have a clear decision which way they stand, at least on that issue. The parties have different positions on it. Thanks for joining us, Avni, with your inputs. Protests at Shaheen Bagh will continue, say the protesters who we spoke to on ground, and they have in fact also reacted to the Prime Minister's comments. Their demand is very clear, that the government should revoke the CAA. PM Modi said that the protest is a politically motivated conspiracy and it is inconveniencing the people of Delhi. Now let's listen in to how the protesters have reacted.
आप लोग कब तक यहाँ पर बैठे रहेंगे क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री से
रहेंगे जब तक हमारे प्रधानमंत्री हम लोग को ना इत्मीनान दिला दे हम लोग बैठेंगे बैठे रहेंगे।
इत्मीनान कैसे दिलाना होगा उनका क्या है, क्योंकि वो तो डायलॉग ही नहीं करना चाहते, वो बात नहीं
करना पड़ेगा ना। जनता से सरकार है, सरकार अपने आप से नहीं है, पहले जनता फिर सरकार। हम दिए कुर्सी से हम ही उतारेंगे। कि हमारी बच्ची कहती है कि अमित शाह अंकल और मोदी अंकल से मुझे मिलना है और मुझे मिलके आप बताना है कि सारी माएँ जो रोड पे आ गई सब बच्चे की अम्मी छूट गई, वो अम्मी नहीं छूटना चाहिए। अम्मी बहुत बड़ी नेमत होती है, वो छूट के बच्चों को, तो ये हमारे सरकार नहीं समझेगा तो कौन समझेगा।
And strong reactions also coming in from the opposition. The Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress and the TMC have slammed the BJP for the hate speeches and for the divisive remarks coming ahead of the elections. Let's listen in.
It is only the political speech, the hatred speech and the vandalism is going on. Otherwise, how the constitutional post holders are saying like this?
प्रधानमंत्री जी इस तरह की गैर जिम्मेवारी की बात तो नहीं करना चाहिए। अगर वास्तव में कोई ऐसा काम पार्टी की कांग्रेस पार्टी या आम आदमी पार्टी कर रही है तो उनके खिलाफ आप रिपोर्ट करके कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं करते? ये गलत तरीके से समाज को बांटने का काम हर शब्द में उनके छुपा हुआ है, जो कि गलत तरीके से समाज को बांटने का काम हर शब्द में उनके छुपा हुआ है, जो कि बहुत ही खेदजनक है। प्रधानमंत्री जैसे पद पर, जो प्रशासनिक दृष्टि से सर्वोच्च पद है, उस पर बैठे व्यक्ति से इस तरह का आचरण और इस तरह का व्यवहार, इस तरह का भाषा की उम्मीद नहीं की जा सकती है।
You can expect nothing better from Mr. Yogi. This is, he doesn't realize the fundamental thing that in politics, your opponents, politicians are only opponents. They are not enemies. And the way these people are speaking, it doesn't show that we are a mature democracy.
वो तो सारा मुल्क की शाहीन बनाता उन्होंने।
हम तो काम कर रहे हैं और काम के नाम पर वोट मांग रहे हैं। कोई मुद्दा विहीन राजनीतिक दल है जिसके पास मुद्दा ही नहीं है, वो इस प्रकार की नकारात्मक राजनीति करता है। और मैं एक और चीज बता देता हूं, मेरा ज्यादा अनुभव नहीं है राजनीति में। अभी 7 साल आम आदमी पार्टी को बने हुए हैं, 7 साल से ही मेरा अनुभव है, मैं शुरू से आम आदमी पार्टी में ही हूं।
Well, we are bringing you voices from both the sides, from all across political spectrum. But let's put it in context now why those reactions came in. Obviously, because of Prime Minister's statement when he broke his silence on Shaheen Bagh, speaking at a Delhi election rally, he said that protests were politically motivated conspiracy. Let's listen in.
क्या ये प्रदर्शन सिर्फ एक संयोग है? जी नहीं, ये संयोग नहीं, ये एक प्रयोग है। अलग अलग केसों में अदालतों की, हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च अदालत की भावना यही रही है कि विरोध प्रदर्शनों से सामान्य मानवी को दिक्कत न हो। सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट ने अपनी नाराजगी जताई है, लेकिन ये लोग अदालतों की परवाह नहीं करते हैं। कितनी दिक्कत हो रही है दिल्ली से नोएडा जाने वाले लोगों को। दिल्ली की जनता इसे देख भी रही है, समझ भी रही है, वो चुप है, साइलेंट है और वोट बैंक की इस राजनीति को देखकर दिल्ली का नागरिक गुस्से में भी है। हम दिल्ली को इस अराजकता में नहीं छोड़ सकते। भाजपा को दिया हर वोट ये करने की ताकत रखता है।
Well, after the Prime Minister entered the Shaheen Bagh narrative, it has become the biggest talking point for Delhi. The BJP is now leaving no stone unturned to make this election one of BJP versus Shaheen Bagh.
सिलमपुर हो, जामिया हो या फिर शाहीन बाग, बीते कई दिनों से सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल को लेकर प्रदर्शन हुए। क्या ये प्रदर्शन सिर्फ एक संयोग है? जी नहीं, ये संयोग नहीं, ये एक प्रयोग है।
कमल के निशान पर बटन दबाइए, बटन तो जरूर दबाना मगर कितनी जोर से दबाना कि मटन पालम में लगे झटका उसका शाहीन बाग के अंदर।
अरविंद केजरीवाल के पक्ष में पाकिस्तान के मंत्री क्यों बयान जारी कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के मंत्री जानते हैं कि शाहीन बाग के लोगों को बिरयानी खिलाने का काम अरविंद केजरीवाल ही कर सकते हैं।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार जिसके तहत लॉ एंड ऑर्डर आता है, केंद्र सरकार, वो इसका समाधान क्यों नहीं कर रही है? रोज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बैठने की बजाय अभी रविशंकर प्रसाद जी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे थे, इतने में वहां शाहीन बाग हुआ थे।
मैं समझता हूं कि इस समय धैर्य और समझदारी आंदोलन चलाने वाले लोगों को ये दिखानी चाहिए कि कोई ऐसा बवाल, कोई ऐसी हिंसा फैलाकर राजनीतिक लाभ लेने का भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मंसूबा सफल न होने पाए। इसलिए आप लोग स्वयं से अपने आंदोलन के बारे में पुनर्विचार भी कीजिए।
Well, we're moving on now to update you on the latest status with regards to coronavirus. 3 cases of the virus were confirmed from Kerala. The state government has now declared it a state disaster. As of now, 2,239 people are under observation in the state. Of these, 84 people are hospitalized, whereas the remaining 2,155 are under home quarantine.
Kerala today declared the end coronavirus issue as a state calamity because we want to strengthen our surveillance system and all the precautional measures. Here, the first day itself, when we came to know that end coronavirus is rampant in China, at the same time we formed our RRT and other system here to contain this end coronavirus. We expect that so many children are there in China from Kerala. We expect that they will come back and the coronavirus may affect in Kerala. At the same time, we started our surveillance system, contact tracing and the isolation, etc. The first day, one result became positive, and after that, yesterday and today, we have 2 more positive results.
Vivek Karandalam joining us live with more inputs. Vivek, we heard the health minister, and of course she is assuring that enough is being done, but there are at multiple levels the government has to be alert, whether it's at the awareness level, observation level, quarantine, isolation. All of this requires a massive effort. Do you see all of that happening in Kerala now that the state has 3 confirmed cases?
Exactly, Afrida, and that is the reason why the state government has decided to declare a state calamity on end coronavirus. Yesterday, health minister has made it very, very clear that the very reason why they have declared end coronavirus as a state calamity is because they want to make sure that all precautionary measures have been taken and no stones are unturned to make sure that this outbreak does not spread and no more, there is no casualty that's been reported in this. Remember, 3 cases in India that's been tested positive. All the 3 are from Kerala, from Thrissur, Alappuzha, and the latest from Kasaragod. All the 3 have been under strict observation by the health officials. Senior doctors are looking at them. What we understand is that all the 3 are very stable and they are out of danger. They are having conversation. They are replying to the questions that's been asked. What we understand from this when I spoke to the health department officials is that around 150 students from the Wuhan University and other area near Wuhan province was supposed to come to India in the month of December. Many people came. Actually, nearly 110 people actually managed to come. Some people actually got stuck up over there because some of these students in the Wuhan Medical University has to do their internship, and for that the authorities have clearly informed them that for them to do the internship they have to stay in Wuhan University itself, and that's the reason why most of these medical students got stuck up over there. Okay. And if most of these students were present there, the numbers would have gone still higher. Okay. But in this particular case, what we understood is this, that on 24th of this month, on 24th of January, from Kolkata to Delhi, from Kolkata to Nedumbasheri, or around a number of students actually travelled, and all the 3 students who have been tested positive was travelling in the same flight. Also understand that, these students had associated with at least 80 people, while they were coming from China to Kerala. And all these 80 people have been thoroughly been checked. And also they have been backtracked in the sense
an airborne disease. And there is a human-to-human transmission. So like you very rightly pointed out, all those people who came into contact with these 3 confirmed cases will have to be scanned and screened, a huge task before the Kerala government. Thanks very much, Vivek, for giving us the latest information. 406 people who were evacuated to Delhi from Wuhan city in China have all tested negative. Periodic medical checks are being done, and all tests are also being done on patients. 4 isolation beds have been kept prepared at the facility, and doctors from AIIMS and Safdarjung are visiting regularly to assist the medical teams. All right. With that, let's move on to other updates that is coming in at this hour. And this is with regards to a brutal incident that we are reporting from Tamil Nadu's Dindigul. A 6-year-old who went missing on Sunday was found dead the next day, on Monday that is. She was found dead with deep wounds on her head, her jaw and her shoulders. We're talking about a 6-year-old child here. The post-mortem report has now confirmed that she was sexually abused. Her parents had even staged a road roko to demand justice in this case. Pramod Madhav joining us live. Pramod, we have some details about this case. Excuse me. I want you to tell us what is the information that is being shared by the police, what assistance is being given to the parents. This is again a horrific case of a sexual assault on a minor girl as little as 6-year-old. Pramod.
Absolutely. This is extremely horrific, and just 10 days ago we reported such a kind of case from Shivagasi district, and this one is from Dindigul. It was reported on the same day when 15 men were convicted by the Mahila court in Chennai for sexually abusing an 11-year-old. That was yesterday. And what has occurred in Dindigul district was that this minor girl who was playing near her home vanished, and the people started searching for her frantically, and almost after hours of frantic search, she was discovered in a farmland, nearby farmland, and she was immediately taken to the hospital. The wounds there play a very important role because she had deep wounds on her head, jaw and back. And what the people who actually found them, the farm owner and others said that one of the boys who was at this location, a 16-year-old boy who has been now arrested, claimed that she fell down from a tractor and she got that's the wound that because of that. And it's not possible because a tractor does not go that fast on an uneven road, and it's just 5 feet tall, and you cannot get this much deep wounds just by falling off from a tractor. And that's the reason the family members and their relatives immediately filed a complaint with the police claiming there is foul play, which unfortunately became was confirmed after the post-mortem report, which has confirmed that the child was sexually abused as well. Right now, a 16-year-old boy has been arrested by the police under POCSO Act, and also the owner of the farmland, he's also been arrested because the tractor belonged to them, which the boy was apparently driving at the scene.
Right, absolutely. Another family shattered. A little girl, 6-year-old, brutally murdered after alleged sexual assault. Pramod, thanks for joining us. You're watching India This Morning. Let's take a very short break here. When we return, more updates coming in from the National Capital. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the latest here in India This Morning. Let's talk about the CCTV footage that your channel Mirror Now has accessed from outside the Jamia University, which, remember, is currently under investigation by the Delhi police for the latest incident of firing that took place near the protest site. Now, visuals on your screen are of the spot outside gate number 7, where there have been claims of a firing taking place on Sunday night, on the 2nd of February at 11:30 p.m. Witnesses claim that 2 people riding a red scooty had fired shots in the air around midnight. Remember, while an FIR has been filed, the police are yet to find evidence that a firing actually took place. So let's go across to Avni joining us. Okay, I'm told Avni is not connected yet. We will try and have our viewers look at this video and get an understanding on what can be made out from the video evidence, because this is going to be extremely critical. The police as of now says there is no hard evidence to suggest that there was firing, since they haven't found any bullets lying in the area. So that's the input we have, and that's the video we have accessed here on the channel. Meanwhile, the case has now been transferred to the crime branch. Moving on, the Karnataka High Court has lashed out at the state police yesterday, questioning their abilities to perform their duties after the state police informed the court that they could not serve summons to rape accused Nityanand because he is on a spiritual tour. Instead, the cops handed over the summons to his aide. The Karnataka High Court, in its 31st January order, had directed the police to serve summons on Nityanand on a petition seeking cancellation of his bail in the rape case. Shrija M is joining us with more information. So, Shrija, from what we can understand, it seems the Gujarat police is dithering on even issuing summons to Nityanand. What is at stake here? Why is the police not really acting up and getting, this man, finding out where he is? We still do not have any clarity, it seems, on this matter. Shrija?
That's right. In fact, even as Interpol has issued a blue-collar notice for the absconding godman Nityananda, we are looking at where Karnataka police, they have made a submission before the Karnataka High Court by saying that he was on a spiritual tour. Now, as far as this particular case is concerned, remember, we're talking about a decade-old case where a rape case has been filed against Nityananda. This is in Ramnagar district of Karnataka. So what we understand is that the Karnataka High Court is hearing the case as far as the bail cancellation is concerned, and it was on January 31st where the Karnataka High Court had instructed, in fact, Karnataka CID probing this particular rape case against Nityananda to issue summons in person to Nityananda. So as far as the report which was submitted by the Karnataka CID before the Karnataka High Court is concerned, we see that the police had mentioned in their report by saying that we could not, in fact, meet Nityananda, and we have handed over the summons to his legal counsel. But however, Nityananda is right now on spiritual tour. Now, remember, this is, of course, the kind of callous attitude we are looking at as far as Karnataka, the CID police is concerned. And now, remember, we are also looking at where the Karnataka police has made a submission right before the court by saying that they have failed to issue a notice.
Yes, first the Gujarat police and now the Karnataka CID also seems to be going slow in this case, perhaps because that is what it appears, since it is reluctant even to issue summons. Shrija, you are telling us that the summons have been issued to his aide. Now, has that led to anything yet?
Well, of course not, because remember, we are looking at a bail cancellation petition, but right now the Karnataka High Court has reserved this very judgment to 5th of February. But yes, we do not see a headway as far as finding of Nityananda is concerned, even after the Karnataka High Court stressed on the fact that the police will have to hand over this very summons in person to Nityananda. So what we see is that the state prosecutor, in fact, told the court that Nityananda's presence is not required for the court proceedings. And remember, he is actually facing trial under Section 376, which is for rape, and also 420 cheating. And we're also looking at another IPC section for criminal abetment and disappearance of evidence as well. Because remember, there are several cases that have been filed against Nityananda, but we see, even if it is Gujarat police or Karnataka police, we're looking at both the police from respective states have given a similar kind of answer to both the courts, respective states.
Yes, and of course the petition for cancellation of bail, that is also something that is under scrutiny. The judgment is reserved for the 5th of February, so we will have to see how the situation develops. Shrija, thanks for joining us. The Karnataka High Court has made it very clear in the Bengaluru illegal demolition case that the state government will have to either rehabilitate or compensate the evicted residents. On the 19th of January, shanties in Balandur in Bangalore were demolished on the claims that there were illegal Bangladeshi migrants living in them. Although the civic officials and police were present at the spot during the demolition, neither of them claimed responsibility for it. Following this, several PILs were filed in the High Court, terming the eviction illegal. The next hearing in this case is on the 10th of February. Neha Hibbale joining me live on this story again from Karnataka. So Neha, give us an understanding on what this means, because clearly there was an eviction that happened. Now, which authority, based on what, did so, doesn't seem to be very clear at the moment, and what kind of compensation or rehabilitation can the evictees expect now?
Well, Afrida, let's go back a couple of days. January 19th was, in fact, that day when, where we're standing right now, of course, in Balandur, where, many of these shanties that you're seeing right now have just been reduced to rubble. In fact, it is such a grave situation here for most of these, residents who were actually, in fact, just staying here. But later, unfortunately, of course, you have their houses, their everything really, just reduced to rubble, demolished over here. And now that this has happened, you have neither the police nor the BBMP that's willing to take responsibility. And in fact, so much so that, Afrida, now that the matter actually has reached court, the court has very, clearly questioned as to who got this eviction and demolition done. Because it is imperative to remember that all along, you have, of course, the BBMP officials also who have denied having any knowledge of this, as well as the police, despite them being present in, at the time of the demolition. Now, imperative to remember that in yesterday's hearing, in fact, orally, what the court has observed is that, in fact, the explanation given by the BBMP and by the police is not sufficient, and that now, of course, while, of course, we are awaiting the orders to be passed, the matter has been posted for February 10th. What we're understanding is that the court has made it very clear that for these, for the residents of these shanties who were evicted, who were evacuated from their house on that fateful day, of course, without any sort of notice being given to them prior to this, will now either have to be compensated, or for that matter, they will also, have to be otherwise given another home. In fact, Frida, let's actually now go over and, talk to some of the people over here, some of the residents who were actually, present that day, who were possibly residents of this, shanty before they were just thrown out and displaced from their homes with no actual, legal process in way. भैया अभी आप बताइए कि उस दिन यहाँ पे मतलब आपके फैमिली ने आपको फोन किया कि ये सब हो रहा है करके, जब आप आए यहाँ पे आपने क्या देखा? आपको कुछ बताया गया था पहले कि आप लोगों को मतलब ऐसे निकलना है आपके घर से, या ऐसे कुछ बताया था आपको? नहीं, हम तो मालूम नहीं, घर तोड़ेगा ऐसे भी मालूम नहीं, हम तो बताया भी नहीं हमको। जब मेरे बीवी ने फोन किया उस टाइम में आया, तुरंत आके मैं देख लिया, वो एक जेसीबी लेके आया, जेसीबी लेके आके घर तोड़ा। अच्छा भैया, तो जब मतलब ये चल रहा था तो आप लोग ये सब होने के बाद फिर आप लोग के लिए कितना मतलब मुश्किल हुआ होगा थोड़ा, कि इमीडिएटली ऐसे आए हैं, ये सब किया है, और फिर मतलब आपको दूसरा जगह जाने में थोड़ी दिक्कत हुई होगी? दिक्कत हुई। अच्छा, शिफ्ट करने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है। ओके, ठीक है भैया। अभी कोर्ट ने मतलब बोला है कि जिन लोगों को यहाँ से मतलब निकाला गया था ऐसे बिना कुछ बोले, बिना कुछ बताए, अभी उनको या तो कॉम्पेंसेशन मतलब या तो पैसे देने होंगे या तो एक नया घर उनको देना होगा। तो मतलब इससे अभी आपको क्या लगता है कि अच्छा हुआ है जो हुआ? ठीक है, जब घर टूट गया हम लोग निकलना पड़ता है, क्या करेंगे? ठीक है भैया, ठीक है। Well, Afrida, of course, this seems to be the sentiment across this entire area. What, of course, we showed you a little while ago was, in fact, shanties that were just reduced to rubble. The residents of these areas who were termed as illegal residents, from another country over here by the BBMP, by the police, will, in fact, now possibly have to see better days if at all, the court does go ahead and direct the government to, hand out some sort of compensation, because the court also observed, Afrida, that, there was no proper check or background verification that was done either by the police or the BBMP. There was no actual legal document that said that these people were in fact illegal immigrants of the area.
Yes, and so many residents just left in the lurch. Was there an undue haste? Was there due diligence or not? That is the primary question. The next hearing is on 10th of February. Thanks for joining us, Neha, with the inputs. With 4 days to go for Delhi elections, campaigning has intensified. We'll come to all of that right after this quick break. Stay with us here on India This Morning.